After uni, I started working for a bit as a pharmacist. I wasn't even a year out, and I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sick of this. You already have your degree. You can do whatever you want. That's what my mom said.
It takes courage to do that. You could just be like, you know what, this is just my path. You didn't have a tech background. You didn't have like cybersecurity or IT skills.
Nothing. I mean, I use the computer a lot.
You've just landed your first role and you're a little bit different. You finished 1 or 2 of your certificates so far?
Just one. Yeah, the A+. I think as long as your attitude's right, your head in the right place, you can absolutely land the job. Just be resilient. It'll happen. I think for anyone coming into the field, it's also very realistic to have the expectation that you're always going to be learning. So I do think it really primes you for life.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cyber Revolution podcast. Thanks for joining us yet again. I'm Adam Hewitt, the CEO of Cyber Revolution. And today I'm joined by a superstar student of ours, Nathan. Nathan, how are you going?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me, Adam.
Thanks for coming on. We're here to chat about Nathan and his experience, not only studying with us, but he's also just landed his first role in the industry. And you've been kind enough to have this conversation on your day off. You just mentioned off air that you get every second Friday off, which is pretty cool. So appreciate you spending the time that you've got now away from work to jump on and share your story.
No worries. Glad to help.
Cool. All right. So for people listening, if you are a first-time listener of the podcast, firstly, welcome. This podcast is basically for people that are interested in the cyberspace, right? Predominantly thinking about a career change. You might be doing something and you've heard about this thing called cybersecurity. It can be a little bit overwhelming, a career change, and especially cybersecurity can be a bit intimidating. It does have some common misconceptions about it. So the point of the podcast is to break down those misconceptions and really just educate people on this amazing industry and how you can potentially land your first job in the space, just like Nathan has. Okay, let's get into it, Nath. Why don't we start with kind of from the beginning, right? What sparked the idea of you wanting to make your career change? What were you doing? And how did you know it was the right time to jump into it?
Yeah, sure. So we've got to start from, I think, first year uni. So I have a degree in pharmacy. So started there. Back in first year, I was doing placements and then I realized, you know what, this isn't really for me. And the whole idea of the degree was actually just for my parents, really. It's a really familial piety kind of thing because they wanted it. Okay, sure, we'll do it. Take it on. I think by about third year, I was really, really sick of pharmacy as well. Because even just doing the placements, I was like, this isn't really what I want to do. Like this is pretty much work experience, even though it's just for 2 weeks. It's not a very long period of time. By about third year, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to jump ship. But my dad was the one that talked me out of it. He says, you've done so much already. Just finish it off. You don't have that much longer. I was like, yeah. All right, I'll do it. I'll finish it. So I finished it because at the time I wanted to jump ship over to computer science. I think it was pretty early in the wave too. So I think it would have been positioned pretty well if I finished computer science then. But yeah, after uni, I started working for a bit as a pharmacist and I wasn't even a year out. And I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sick of this. So I spoke to my mum. I was like, you know what? You already have your degree. You can do whatever you want. I'll support it. That's what my mum said. And there we are. Yeah.
Wow. What a story, man. Thanks for sharing. And I think it takes courage to do that. Like if you've spent 4 years studying, you could just be like, you know what, this is just my path. I'm going to just slog it out and just, do the work because that's what the responsible thing to do. So what I'm showing the maturity to be like, hey, this is not for me. I don't enjoy it. I need to do something I do enjoy. Why pharmacy? Did your dad do pharmacy?
So none of my parents did pharmacy actually, but I think my mum's very forward thinking when it comes to careers. There's a lot of things that she was worried about, like automation in the future, especially with the rise of AI. But she put it in a different sort of way because she predicted this like probably 15 years ago.
Yep.
So she was like, yeah, rise of AI is probably not AI, but like automation, right?
Yeah.
Robots are going to do a lot.
Yep.
What's something that you can be accountable for? And that would be pharmacy. Because like, I think at the end of the day, a lot of governing bodies want to have a human accountable for mistakes. I know it's very cynical, but it's sort of the way of thinking that she had.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like you always need someone accountable. I think that's
Yep.
quite similar in the cyberspace as well, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, that's the way the world's moving, right? And that computer science, cybersecurity space, I think goes hand in hand with AI and automation. The more vulnerabilities there are, the more need for people to protect, people against those vulnerabilities. And it just goes to show that you can have a responsible pathway that has job security and what you should do. But really, if you're going to see yourself as a young person, and this is for anyone that's listening now that is either looking to go through university or thinking about what career to take, you need to look at it through the lens of, can I actually see myself doing this for 10, 15, 20 years and actually feeling fulfilled, right? Take away the money side of it, take away the job security side, actually see if you can see yourself enjoying it and wanting to thrive and do it long term. That's the lens you need to look through. And so for you, why were you always interested in computer science and cybersecurity? What drew you in about that?
I think it's more so the fact that you're doing the same thing with, and I'm drawing comparison to pharmacy really. It's mainly cyber as well that I want to specify that I'm talking about. So with cyber, one of your roles, and I understand that cyber is a very broad umbrella, but with cyber, one of your roles is to ensure that people aren't doing things that would put the infrastructure at risk. So that's really quite similar to pharmacy in a sense, because you're also trying to convince people not to do or go pursue activities that would lead to worse health outcomes, if
Yep.
that makes any sense. Like for someone diabetic, you want them to sort of take care of themselves, maybe lose some weight, watch what you eat, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same with cyber, but you're doing it in a very different way, and it's very
Correct.
organizational. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Very process driven, very risk adverse as well, like physical health and digital health as well.
Mm.
You will all do those digital health checks as well as physical health checks, right?
100%.
Okay. Interesting. And tell us about the role that you landed. You've just landed your first role, and you're a little bit different because you've, only finished, you finished one or two of your certificates so far?
Just one. Yeah, the
One.
A plus.
You've just finished your A plus, and for people you didn't have a tech background, you didn't have like cybersecurity skills or IT skills prior to doing our course.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. I mean, I use the computer a lot, but I wouldn't say I'm a wizard or anything.
Yep.
So a lot of
Okay.
it was really new.
So you've talk us through the timeline. You started with us. You've then now finished your A plus, and for people listening, our students get a suite of certifications from A plus through to 3 or 4 others, through to the Network Plus, Security Plus, and CYSA Plus. It's called. Basically, it covers, we call it the fundamental 5 areas of cybersecurity. The first 2, hardware and software, is your A plus. They're the foundations of IT. You then move into networking, which is how you bring those 2 components together. Cybersecurity is the 4th, which is the protective blanket over the network. And then the 5th is analytics. They're the fundamental 5. You just completed your A plus, which is fundamentals of IT. And what happened next?
I have a few mates in IT. One of them is a manager, and I usually bounce ideas back and forth with a lot of my friends, especially when it comes to careers. And that sort of also had some influence in steering me towards IT as well, actually, or cyber as well. But in saying that, I spoke to that same mate regarding the A plus. I was like, hey, I'm doing this certificate. I've never heard of it. Have you heard of it? And he's like, yeah, man. Like if I could go back in time and choose whether I'd do a degree or whether I'd do a certification, I'd definitely be doing the certification.
Yep.
Because a lot of it is practical knowledge that you learn in the certification, whereas in the degree, it's stretched out, and there's a lot of theoretical, which I guess is nice to sort of further your understanding. But I believe if you're on the field, the theoretical comes into play maybe 1 out of 10 situations.
Yeah.
It doesn't come up that often.
I think this is a very topical question, or this is kind of a very interesting topic to talk about for us, because we recently partnered with the New South Wales government and a bunch of huge organizations like CommBank, Accenture, IBM, Microsoft, and some smaller organizations as well. Basically, it's to form what they call the 20% pathway pledge, and to discuss and to kind of fix exactly what you're talking about now. University is great, right? You can go to university. I think if it's the right time and right place for you, go to uni. I went to uni and studied education, loved it, but it's not right for everybody. If you are, can't afford to go to university for whatever reason, it's very time consuming, full-time study for 3 or 4 years. If you can't do that, then alternative pathways where you do certifications, which are much more practical and hands-on training and less time studying, are a great way to get the right hands-on skills. Okay. Now, in the past, they weren't really recognized by these large organizations. Kind of to get a job at the big banks or the big tech companies, you had to go to university to kind of even apply. It would be like, hey, university degree to even apply. They've now pledged that 20% of their entry-level roles are going to go through alternative pathways. So for people that study certifications like the CompTIA A with us, we're an enabler. So we give all of those organizations the talent they need to hit their quota, which I think is amazing, right? You now don't have to go to uni to get a great job in a big tech company. It's really cool. And so you found that too. You found that your certifications are hands-on. And now in your entry level, your IT role that you're in at the moment, you find that the studies that you did in your CompTIA A plus were relevant for the work that you're doing in your new job?
Absolutely. It primes your brain. And also to add to that, my previous statement, I just think that if you're trying to get into IT and you're debating whether you should study a 4 year, 3 to 4 year degree, like invest all that time and money, or whether to do a certification, do it efficiently, well, not efficiently, you can do it throughout a year. It doesn't really matter, but it would save you a lot of money, time, for sure. I think as long as your attitude's right,
Yep.
your head in the right place, you can absolutely land the job. Just be resilient and it'll happen. Yeah.
Yep. Learn the hands-on practical skills. And, if you want to just get a job quicker, then I think alternative pathways and certificates, definitely the way to go. Okay, great. And so that you're finding now the work you're doing day in, day out, it is a new role. So you're probably, sometimes feeling a little bit like you've been chucked in the deep end and you're not sure what to do next. That's completely normal. But did you feel like, kind of like, oh, I got this? Like I know the skills already because I've practiced them on our labs or whatever it might be. You've done the skills before.
If you've studied the A plus, you'll probably realize that you need to remember a lot, I think, especially because it's all fundamentals. And so when you come across a scenario at your workplace, what will end up happening, or what ends up happening for me is that it's somewhere in my head. So I look at it and I'm like, I've seen that before. Where have I seen that? And then I keep looking at it. There it is. And then that's sort of how I understand it because I'm very like, I picture things.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when I physically see it, it's like, oh, I see.
Yep.
I think I had a lot of trouble with like learning port numbers and all that.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely methods around it, like flashcards, but I just think like things that I can't physically picture, that was pretty tricky. But yeah,
Yep.
there's just got to learn it.
Well, exactly. That's the
Yeah,
study.
yeah.
Well, that's the part like, oh, I've just got to grind through this and do it. Then on like the actual, doing side and actually learning that practical skill, we've got live labs where you have to learn the theory and our lectures, but you also then implement that in the live lab. Did you enjoy that side of it? I'm assuming you probably enjoyed that more than the lectures.
I actually enjoyed the lectures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I actually enjoyed the lectures.
Interesting. Well, that.
I can't really explain it. Hey, it's more so like I think of it like I'm downloading the information. I just think the live labs can be a little laggy sometimes, and that sort of makes me really not want to interact with it
Yep.
because yeah, my internet can be really bad. Yeah,
Right. Okay. So you prefer just the information, give it to you, and then process that information
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
in real
right.
time. Okay. And so back onto your role, like what's the best thing about your new job? Other than the 9-day fortnights that you've got to work, you get every second Friday off.
There's a lot of learning actually, and there's a lot of reinforcement of knowledge. And I think that at my current workplace, there's a lot of people that are way, their knowledge base is huge. So I think there's a lot to learn there, and they're all very supportive.
Yep.
You can go to them with questions. And 9 times out of 10, they themselves will know and they're happy to help, or they know who will know and they'll get you in contact with them.
Yep.
Very supportive. Like, I just think it's one of the best learning environments for a workplace. Yeah.
Good, mate. That's so good to hear, because like I think that is the number one trait of new people getting into cyber, and then people that get into the industry, is the fact that they love learning, because the industry, cyber industry, constantly changes, right? So if you don't develop, it's not one of those jobs that you can just do a course, get a job, and just do the work and kind of not have to professionally develop, and you'll stay, stagnant. In cyber, if you do that, you won't stay stagnant. You'll actually get found out and go backwards. You have to constantly learn. And for some people, that can be a chore. But if you like learning, and clearly you do, it's kind of like, I'm getting paid to learn all these new amazing skills, and it's amazing. That's awesome to hear. Okay. Anything else?
I definitely think it's a massive plus to be able to constantly learn, especially with how things are evolving. Like, they're always, like you said, they're constantly changing. And I think technology always be changing too. So like, I think for anyone coming into the field, it's also very realistic to have the expectation that you're going to need to learn all your life. I mean, that's a metaphor for life as well. You're always going to be learning, right? Otherwise you'll wither out, you know what I mean? So I do think it really primes you for life. And I'm not saying that lightly. Like, I actually think being in a role where you have to constantly learn, it really primes your attitude towards life if you want to do well in that role. Yeah.
And as you said, if you want to do well in life, you've got to be challenged. Like if you just go through life and you're just comfortable and you're cruising, you're like, oh yeah, then you will, your batteries will go flat. You won't have much motivation. You won't have much resilience. So I think if you are constantly always sharpening the sword, you're always challenging, you're always around people that are smarter than you as well and are kind of giving you nuggets of gold. As you said, that's going to be great professionally, but it's going to be amazing for your personal life and your personal growth too. Right? So I think, yeah, it's exciting. You've got an exciting future ahead of you. On the training and the people that you're with at this amazing organization now, what did that look like? Because obviously it can be intimidating going from no IT background, anything at all, into now, an IT role. What was the training and support like?
So we had about a week of training. I would say it's practical training too, because they teach you how to do everything, or they'll show you how to do everything, and then they'll sort of present scenarios for you, and you actually just try and fix it yourself.
Yep.
I think because I've done the A plus, it feels really, I wouldn't say easy, but it felt familiar.
Yep.
It felt very familiar. It's like, oh yeah, password resets. It's like, oh yeah, you're setting up a network drive,
Yep.
or you're mapping a network drive kind of thing. Yeah. That was, I think, part of the training. And even now, I would still consider myself in training because I'm trying to figure out a workflow. That's obviously very personal, but like, workflow is not the easiest to sort of get on top of, because I think with my setup, I have different sites that I have to visit. So I'll have to really adjust every single day pretty much. Yeah. I think that's the main obstacle for me at the moment. Yeah.
Cool. And then, as you said, it's just on to the next thing. You learn the new skill, move on to the next thing. That's actually really great feedback. That's what we want from our training program, is kind of like the skills and the training we give you are very relevant for the work that you're going to do in your first few months of the training. So it's not completely foreign. So that's amazing feedback to get. And so future pacing, your career, ideally, where are you going to be sort of in the next 2 to 5 years? What do you want to do with your career?
It's a little ambitious, but I want to learn as much as I can so I can eventually become like a cyber agency that will help small businesses and protect, all the day-to-day operations. Because I come from a retail background, and I can definitely notice that there's a lot of places where, you can set up as many firewalls, antiviruses, et cetera, that you want.
Yep.
But you're going to have people that are going to click on links all the time. You're going to have people that are going to open these emails, download these files. And it doesn't matter if, like I said, if you have all these protective measures in place, if you have people that are going to do that, organizations at risk.
I couldn't agree
Yeah.
more. And you see like some of the largest organizations in Australia, Like Qantas again was recently hacked, over 5 million people's data stolen again, and that is through human error. And they would spend millions on cybersecurity training and millions on cybersecurity protection for that business, right? And it still happens. Small businesses don't have money to spend on resources and training to protect themselves. So you can imagine how vulnerable they are. And so that's where a lot of hackers are focusing their attention on is smaller businesses now. They're a lot more vulnerable, can take their data a lot easier and figure out, you know what, I've got to pay this. Otherwise, my business is going to go bust. So they pay, right? So I think that's a good little niche you've got yourself there. So maybe you focus on the next few years, doubling down, learning the skills, you could have a pretty awesome business. I don't think that's ambitious at all. I love it. All right. And so, final question for someone that's sitting on the fence about switching careers and wanting to get into cybersecurity, they could be whether they're studying a university degree that they hate, whether they're in a job that they feel like, you know what, I've just been doing this for 10 years and it's not what I want to do. What would be your top 3 pieces of advice to help them kind of get out of their comfort zone and take the leap and get into cyber?
Number one is definitely think about why you're still there. Like, think about how much time you've put. Let's just even talk about high school, right? Like, let's say you're in uni and you want to finish this degree, but you really hate it. Let me just say this. You've put 6 years into high school. So think about how long that feels, right? Now, think about putting another 3 years, 2 years, however long, into a degree that you're going to end up with, that you're already disliking, that you're going to pay hex for eventually, right? So it's already taking up time when you could be doing something more relevant towards where you want to be. Like, it doesn't matter if you're, if you want to do cyber, if you want to do art, whatever, right? Like, if you're wasting your time, you're wasting your time. So I would say, like, really think about it, have the shower thoughts, go for a drive and think about it, but make sure you think about it and reevaluate where you're putting your time. I think that's my number one. Number 2 and 3, I haven't really thought about. Sorry.
Number one is just do it. Basically, if you think about it, let's just do it.
100%. Just do it. Like,
Yeah.
I think if you have any doubts about what you're doing in your mind, I think it's worth actually opening that filing cabinet up and just seeing why these doubts exist. Like, really see it through. Otherwise, it's going to eat at you in the future.
I think even though it's just one out of the 3 you've given us, I think it's, it is a really good point. You need to first identify your current situation and go, I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? X, Y, and Z reasons. Am I going to be able to fix that in this industry or this current job? If the answer is no, then you've got to get out of it, right? That's a given. I think step 2 of that process is then identifying what industry is going to be good for you. What is going to actually fill your cup and give you the things that you're looking for? That's where the research side comes in. That's where if you're listening to this podcast, you're like, God, that sounds interesting. Or, you watch videos on YouTube, or you build, PCs at home, or you just always been fascinated about IT and cyber. I'd recommend head over to my YouTube channel. Adam Hewitt is the YouTube channel number and just is the YouTube channel name. And just watch. I've got a bunch of videos on there that just educate people purely about this industry, who it is for, who it isn't for. If it is interesting and you can see yourself doing it, great. Jump into it and do it, as Nathan said. But if it's not, then, go find something else that is. It could be anything. So I think it's good advice.
I also think, like, it also comes, like, everything I'm saying comes from everything I've experienced, right? Like, I think I'm lucky enough to have all these experiences in life. Like, for example, I worked at the pharmacy after I graduated, and I realized, I was like, oh, it's mainly, there's a few people there, but, like, I'm like, how you don't look very happy.
Yeah.
And they're, I think, mid-40s. And I'm like, you really look at yourself and you go, like, is this what I want to become?
Mm.
And it really shines a light on where you want to, or how you want to end up. I don't know. I'm just really reflective like that. So
Yeah. That can almost be like a glimpse into the future you don't want.
it's a very awakening moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people need something like that to jolt them out of like, okay, I got to change, right?
Mm.
And often that's what people need. They need that moment to be like, all right, whether it's a horrible culture at the business you're working in at the moment, you have a really bad day, and it's like, okay, now I need to change. That's just human psychology.
I've also got a number 2, actually. This sounds really important too. LinkedIn or seminars,
Yes.
networking. Yeah. And this is answering the question of how do you know like what you want to do kind of thing. I would say like if you're pursuing something in tech, like cyber or, IT, I think it's definitely worth having a LinkedIn profile picture set up, everything fully set up, or attend some seminars. You got to hit people up. You got to message them, take the initiative and say, hey, like, I'm interested in what you're doing. And this is like crude. Don't do this word for word. Like, I'm interested in what you're doing. Would you be all right to have like a chat just so I can sort of understand what you do better?
Yep.
And I think that'll definitely broaden your horizons. It'll allow you to make a more informed decision rather than just jumping in.
Definitely. Yep. Do your research, speak to people in the industry. You'll find people in the cyberspace are hugely welcoming. They want more people to enter this industry that are going to be good fits because, many hands make light work and there's not enough professionals in this industry at the moment. And you're kind of fighting a losing battle at the moment with cyber professionals against the hackers. And so they want more good people to join the industry too. So they will be welcoming if you do reach out. And a LinkedIn piece is huge as well. All of our students, we do LinkedIn optimization workshops with them to make sure the fundamentals are done. It's really, really important. Nate, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story and your thoughts. I know it's going to inspire a lot of our current students and also some potential future ones as well. So appreciate it.
No worries, Adam. Thanks for having me.
Everyone, if you did enjoy this episode, please like, comment, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave some comments. We've noticed we've been getting some comments in the comment section around topics that you want to hear us talk about. That helps me come up with ideas and what you guys want to hear as well. So really, really appreciate it. If you want to know more about our job placement program, just head to our website, leave your details there and the team will be in touch.